welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan. Joining me as always is Ben. And it's Musical March, baby, where we're going to take a look at some of the best musicals of all times. We've done musicals in the past. We did like Singing in the Rain. Is that the only one? I feel like we've done another musical.
I don't remember. That's
That might have
weird.
been the only one because I feel like we had a discussion where we were like, I don't really like musicals. And
I don't know who we is.
Well, okay, Zach mainly was like the biggest proponent of just make it an album. I hate musicals. Just make it an album.
What about the opposite? What about when you've made the album and then you turn it into a musical?
That's true. Like a visual album, or just like a musical based off of an album.
Like American Idiot.
Well, it's like a Broadway musical though.
Yeah,
Not like a musical.
I will say I feel like I heard talk for a while that they were going to do a movie, and then they just kind of never did.
That's right. Do we need that? Like,
I'd go
you
see
sit and
it,
ask
but
yourself.
yeah. I mean, we don't need it, but would I see it? Yeah, I would.
That's fair. I won from another podcast. I think it was Movie Flicks Films. They were like giving away stuff on Instagram, and I won a copy of the new Mean Girls movie, which is a musical. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, you know.
I'd have to see it. I know of the Mean Girls Broadway musical. I don't know if they just turned that back into a movie. I didn't really follow what happened with that.
Essentially.
But I know the Broadway musical Tina Fey's husband did all the music for.
I think it literally is just that. Like, it was,
Okay.
Mean Girls, they turned it into a musical, and then they came back and brought it, like, from Broadway, brought it back onto the screen, I think.
Yeah.
Which, it's not that much different than the original script. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I only know like one or two songs from the Broadway. I haven't seen it. I haven't listened to the whole thing.
It's not that bad.
Look, I'm a show tunes guy, but I didn't get that into the weeds with Mean Girls.
I'm just one who, like, do I go and search out musicals? Not really. That's why I enjoy, like, these themed months that kind of get us to, like, go out of the box and do things that we don't really go for. I mean, since having a child, I've done a lot more of the Disney, which feels like more like show tuney, where it's like, it's more orchestrated, like songs. The newer ones are more poppy type music, but
yeah, I'd say once you get into, I mean, even some of the 90s stuff was not necessarily show tuney. I think if they're ones where
I guess.
If Alan Menken did the music, show tuning, especially seeing as he does a lot of Broadway stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast are very like show tuney.
Yeah,
Aladdin kind of gets away from it a little bit.
No, I mean Aladdin stays pretty show tuney. Hercules hit or miss. Lion King, I would say, also toes the line a little bit.
But then, like, the newer stuff, like,
but
when
even
you listen
like
to,
Tarzan, we rewatched Tarzan with our son a couple weekends ago. Banger. Music in that movie is fucking tight. Phil Collins.
That's the Phil Collins, yeah.
Yeah, Phil Collins just wrecked shit with that. It was like, fuck you, Disney, top this.
Well, that's, not a huge musical guy, but Lin-Manuel Miranda killed it on Moana. That music in that movie, like, is just so good. Even in Encanto, listen to that one, like, and you listen to an old Disney song, and then listen to like the new ones, and they're so much more complicated too. Where they're like singing over each other and like playing off of each other really quickly, and I'm like, I don't know if that's just development in like the way that they're leaning more poppy
Yeah,
in their musical taste
I will
rather than.
say, God, this is going to be divisive, and theater kids are going to hate it. Once you recognize certain like patterns Lin-Manuel Miranda does, a lot of his stuff starts to sound the same.
I could see that.
A lot of it's weird because you think of like with Alan Menken from like the '90s stuff. Those songs don't all sound very similar. Like if you were to listen to an Aladdin song, it sounds Aladdin-y, but it doesn't sound like other
Doesn't sound
necessarily
like Little
90s Disney
Mermaid.
movies. Well,
Yeah.
what's crazy too is that man, I'm just going off on a tangent. But like Alan Menken did the music for the Broadway version of A Bronx Tale, which was a one-man show by Chaz. God, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Palminteri. He did a one-man show, A Bronx Tale, about his life growing up. They took that and turned it into a musical. Alan Menken did the music for it, but if you'd listen to it, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, that's easily the guy who did all the '90s Disney movies."
Yeah.
With Lin-Manuel Miranda, a lot of things after you've listened to like one or two of his, I wouldn't even say full musicals. You listen to like a couple songs, like two or three songs off Hamilton, a song or two from Moana, song or two from In the Heights, and you're like, I feel like if it's something I can listen to and be like, Lin, it's a Lin-Manuel Miranda song. Don't even have to know whether or not it's true. I can just
It's not
tell.
necessarily a bad thing.
No,
to
he
have
just
like
has
an
a
MO,
distinct.
but
He has a distinct style.
for
and
better or for worse,
Yeah. Oh,
he
it's
has
just
a
one thing.
distinct style.
It's just one thing where, in terms of it being him being like Disney's new like studio go-to guy,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of their stuff sound the same. It doesn't make things sound independent of one another.
Alan Menken did Little Shop of Horrors as well.
Dude, Alan Menken's a baller. I'm not gonna lie. I know I theater kid just name dropped and pulled that up to bring it up, but yeah.
The only reason I know his name is because you play it on like Spotify, and he's the credit or whatever, like the artist on Spotify. And then I was like, Isla was really into like Little Mermaid, and then a little late now we're into like Tangled, which he also did. And I'm like, oh hey, it's the same guy. So I was like, now that you're like name dropping him like that, I'm like, oh, let me go look at his like IMDb here or his Wikipedia. And I mean, yeah, I'm like, damn, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be for people who are listening to this for the month. I'm sorry. I know I was a theater kid. I'm gonna drop theater kid shit, and you're gonna be like, fucking Christ, get over yourself. I get it, and I'm sorry. I apologize in advance.
Wow. Well, this week we're taking a look at The Sound of Music, which is rated on AFI. This is back in 2006. The American Film Institute gave it a number 4 out of the greatest movie musicals of all time. And it was also, in 1998, listed as the 55th greatest American movie of all time. It currently sits at number 233 out of 250 on IMDb's top 250. It is a classic musical. It says epic period drama, kind of a biography of Maria. Oh God, what is her last name here? I guess it's von Trapp at one point.
I was gonna say, yeah. I don't know necessarily that they dive into her actual last name, because originally she's just Sister Maria.
Yeah, I think if you like looked into like the actual background of like Maria von Trapp. Let's see. It is I'm not going to try and pronounce that. It is Maria Augusta Kuzera.
Sure.
She's Austrian-Hungary, so but It is the based off of like her story, the story of the Trapp family singers, and like kind of autobiographical. It's based off the stage play from what is it, the 50s, 1959 stage musical. Um, and it's the story of a young novice is sent by her convent to 1930s Austria to become a governess to the 7 children of a widowed naval officer. Currently sits at an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb. Directed by Robert Wise. Written by George Hurtlick, Howard Lindsay, and Russell Krauss. Stars Julie Andrews, Christopher Plummer, uh, Eleanor Parker, Richard Hayden, Peggy Wood. That's about it, I think.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't disrespect my man, Nicholas Hammond, who played Friedrich von Trapp.
Yes, Nicholas Hammond. Who
Uh,
he is?
who he is?
Yes.
He played Spider-Man in the 70s,
Oh, okay.
I think. 70s? Might have been earlier. Might have been 60s. He's still... I don't know if he's still acting, but he was, as of 2019, he was in Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
He was in a movie that came out last year that was a 4 out of 10 on IMDb. So,
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's some sort of Oscar winner. I just wanted to point out the fact that he played Spider-Man.
all right. You just wanted to flex that nerd knowledge.
You're damn right. You're damn right I did. And I feel no shame about doing it.
It was nominated for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Oscars, and it won 5 of them. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and Best Music, Scoring of Music, Adaptation, or Treatment. That is definitely changed whatever that one is. I guess it's just like best sound, best score, original score, I guess is what that would be now.
Could be. Would make sense.
Well, no, maybe you're just not nominated because Dune didn't get nominated. Dune 2 didn't get nominated. It is just a best original score now. I don't think they give you. There's no nomination for like adaptation.
So what are you going to do? Just give it to the one musical that comes out every decade-ish?
I guess. Give it to Wicked this year. Well, I mean, I guess you could then throw in like the biopics that they do, like what was the Queen one, Bohemian Rhapsody. You throw in,
Yeah.
Then what else
Elvis.
came out that year? That's also an adapted score.
I mean, that's the thing. You're going to get like 1 or maybe 2 a year.
Had you seen this movie?
No.
No, you hadn't. Okay.
Not seen the movie. Never saw the musical.
Okay. I had seen it a long time ago. I think I saw it for choir. I think in middle school, high school, something around there. Because I knew some of the music. Like, obviously, the Sound of Music. Maybe I mostly knew that song from Moulin Rouge. Because that song is also in there. But obviously I knew it from this, where she's like on the hill singing. It's like iconic. Like when you think of old Hollywood or like classic Hollywood, you're like,
Yeah.
Sound of Music, on the hill singing. And Do Re Mi is, I feel like, the choir song now. I don't know why that's been picked up, but
yeah, it's well, I mean, that's the scale. So I mean, that's always been
yes, but
like the thing. It's not like they just made that up.
no, but I'm just saying.
Those ones. The first time I heard the "So Long Farewell" was actually in Family Guy. I remember them doing a bit where like Peter, I can't remember if Peter blows a whistle or like rings a bell, but they do the thing and then Stewie sings the little "The sun has gone too bad, and so must I. That's one I remember.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I did know most of the songs. And I knew most of them were related to this. I think the only one that I didn't recognize was from this musical was "Climb Every Mountain," which I knew of, I'd heard, just didn't realize that this is the musical it came from.
And if I'm gonna be honest, probably the weakest song from this musical.
It is, yeah, it's kind of a filler.
The thing is, and we can go into more depth of like what you knew going in and what you didn't know. But watching this movie, having not seen it since I was like a kid and didn't remember much. I mean, I knew the basic plot of like the Nazis, which is not necessarily the main plot point, but it is the main plot point of like the last hour to 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's big in the second act. It's a big second act plot point.
But like, yeah, man, watching this movie and I was like, wow, like 16 going on 17, like you just don't see dance numbers like that anymore. Like, I love a musical with a big dance number where it's like just kind of like really highlights the choreography and the artists of they're like dancing around the gazebo and like jumping up and running between them and like all that. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then Climb Every Mountain comes on and it's just the sister and the super dark room singing, and I'm like, this is kind of lame. Like after having like a couple of like big numbers and then it just kind of being like somebody singing it and you're like, it doesn't have the same hit that it did. But Ben, going in, did you know anything about Sound of Music? Did you know about the plot? Did you know, like, obviously
Yes.
you kind of talked about knowing some of the musical numbers, but
Yes, I feel like I knew quite a bit about it. To be honest, most of anything that I feel like it's one of those movies that for some reason I could have held a conversation with someone about it, and then after telling them I'd never seen it, they would have gone, "What? How did you?" It's been around for so long. It's been referenced in so many things. It's been,
that's true.
it's one of those that just feels like it is leached into pop culture so much that you know about it even if you don't know that that's what you know about it from. Even the escaping after the performance in that, like, it was like, okay, yep, okay, and then they're gonna escape, and then they go, yeah. The only thing that caught me off guard was how long it was, which I, looking back, should have realized that was probably done at a time when, I mean, realistically, movies I feel like could get away with that, especially a movie like this where they put the intermission in, and basically this was I believe, or at least it felt like, shot for shot. Not shot for shot, obviously they made things, more cinematic, but it's the play. It's the musical. It doesn't feel like they took, a lot of times now, they might take the musical and cut a couple things out if they're not key points to the story to make it fit a tighter movie timeline. I feel like with this, it was like, no, do the whole thing. It's the whole thing. We're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wicked Part 1 is 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
That feels like they took it and added to it because they split the movie.
Yeah.
Wicked's a decently long musical, but not... It ain't a 6-hour musical.
That's the thing that's kind of wild to me, is that you're trying to like sell this as like a 6-hour long musical, like the whole thing together. I don't think I'm ever gonna go watch Wicked Part 1 and 2 back to back to see the whole story continuation. Like, no offense to anybody, but that's
No.
a lot of musical.
And you know, I hope with it being successful, there are other musicals that I'd like to see made into movies. I think it would be cool if they started doing that a little bit more again.
Just advertise it though. That's the
But
thing
oh
that
well,
pisses
yeah.
me off
Don't
is they try to put these movies out
Wonka,
like Mean
Mean
Girls,
Girls.
Wonka.
Yeah,
If it's a musical, just tell me. I'll go. People want to see musicals.
yeah.
It's not like it's like gonna scare off that much of
Now
audience.
along the
Wicked
same
freaking
lines though,
killed.
like um, Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, was that the first one? The Gene.
I think it's Willy Wonka.
It's Willy
and the
Wonka
Chocolate
'cause
Factory.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was the Depp one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. That movie's kind of a. I mean, it's pretty much a musical.
yeah, that's the first genre on there.
I feel like if someone were to show me that movie, I feel like they would not lead with, "This is a musical."
Yeah,
So I get it. I feel like it's a thing that's been going on for maybe a while, but yeah, just make movies of musicals, but just don't, or don't do it as things that are like other properties. Like I would go see if they did like Book of Mormon as a movie. Yeah, I'd go see that.
that would
I
that'd be pretty
enjoyed
good.
I enjoyed the musical, loved it. Would definitely go see it as a. I think the last pre-Wicked, I'm trying to think of what other like big newer Broadway shows that went to movies.
Cats.
Jersey Boys did.
Cats.
Yeah. Ugh.
West Side Story.
West Side Story. Yeah, I
Spielberg
just think of
remade
that
it.
one as a because it was a remake.
Um,
Like I said, Jersey Boys, Clint Eastwood did in the late aughts or early tens. I can't remember.
yeah.
I feel like that's it.
We don't have
Cause like Hamilton, oh, In the Heights. In the Heights just was
uh
pretty new. That was like a COVID release.
we don't have like a what do you call it? Yeah, we don't have like a Hamilton movie yet. I think they did like a recording of the stage
They
play.
just released this. I don't
Yeah.
think they'll ever do a movie.
um
I don't think they'll do it. Like I said, I
La
think
La Land, but that wasn't a
I think that was an
Broadway play
original.
before.
Yeah, that wasn't like a Broadway. I could see them doing like a. I could see American Idiot being one that they could turn
Les
relatively
Mis
easy.
in
Les
like
Mis,
what 2012.
Mamma Mia. It done.
That's the only musical I have ever seen, Ben. I've seen Mamma Mia twice. Not by choice. It was like school stuff, but
I was gonna say why?
just big ABBA fan.
Big ABBA guy over here. Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
I've watched Phantom of the Opera, the movie. That was good. I haven't seen them.
Oh man, I only have the one.
Oh, you're just whipping that out? Is that the one where they're like, that was super dangerous?
Yep.
Oh,
Saw it on Broadway. High school senior trip. We went to New York City. We saw Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. It was rough. Not great. Not great, Cotton. Not great. But I do still have the ticket stub, so that's kind of a cool little thing. Yeah, that one, Memphis, we saw on that same trip. I've seen Book of Mormon, Jersey Boys, Aladdin. I saw when it came to Detroit. Jersey Boys, I think I've seen twice. Yeah, I think twice.
so they have an Outsiders.
Wicked on Broadway.
They have an Outsiders musical now.
They do, dude. They did Back to the Future as a Broadway musical. They turned Beetlejuice into a Broadway musical.
Heathers, I think, was also a musical, right?
Heather's the musical I saw a college performance of, and having not seen the movie beforehand, just seeing the musical, so it was my brother-in-law when he was in school. They did it at the university. He worked in like the sound booth and that, so he was running that stuff kind of on the crew side. Halfway through, I looked to my wife and I'm like, "What the fuck are we watching?
What is this?
What did you bring me to? Why? What is this?"
They're killing kids? They're gonna blow up the school?
There's a scene where there's dudes like, well, because the scene where they kill the two like football players.
Yeah.
On the stage play, it's just like, which again, small Ohio college, like not even a big not a big university. The two dudes playing the football players look like a strong gust of wind would take them over. So now you've got these two scrawny ass kids in boxer shorts, like getting killed on the stage, and I'm just like, what am I watching? What is this?
Oh my god.
Music's good, but why? What is this?
I felt a little betrayed in this movie. So one, I didn't realize that was Christopher Plummer. So that was a big deal for me when I found it. I was like, oh, wait, Christopher Plummer. I was like, where do I know that name from? And I'm like searching, and I was like, Knives Out. I was like, oh shit. And then, he starts singing like midway through the movie once like Maria has introduced music back into the home. And then I looked and it's like not him singing. And I'm just like, dang. Like it feels like such a lie now.
It was also kind of like reading like the behind the scenes that he just like would shit all over Julie Andrews all the time. Like he called her Miss Disney. He said he found her insufferable, like during the filming.
Damn.
Oh my god, yeah. It was just like he later admitted he's like, I was just being like selfish and immature. It was wrong of me to do. But yeah, he called he referred to the movie as The Sound of Mucus, or S&M, and he likened working with Julie Andrews to being hit over the head with a Valentine's Day card every day. Julie Andrews claimed that Christopher Plummer's cynicism probably helped his performance and kept the movie from being too sentimental.
All right, that's fair.
So look at that. Julie Andrews is being literally a saint, both on and off screen. To just be like, yeah, Christopher Plummer said yeah, he really hates me. But you know what? It's probably better for the movie. So good for him. It's like someone listened to what Dylan said about me after we cut this podcast off. God, I hate that guy. Ugh, fucking Mr. Disney over there. Fucking insufferable.
You wish you were Mr. Disney. That's all I have to say. I will say, Julie Andrews, amazing in this movie. Just kills it. And she's actually singing, so you know what? Fuck you, Christopher Plummer. But on her behalf. But no, she does such a good job. Like I was talking about, I feel like I like these older musicals. And maybe it's just because it's a little less like glitzy and glammy. I haven't seen a ton of newer ones, but I do feel like some of the newer movies try to like cut around a bit too much when it comes to like a musical. I think the beauty in a musical and a musical number comes when you let the camera sit there and then you let the choreography and the music and everything just show out. And I'm kind of thinking of, there's the scene, what is the number that she's singing? It's at the very beginning. I think it's like I've Got Confidence or something like that, I want to say. Um, but when she's like walking towards the house and she's like swinging the guitar and everything, and I'm like, wow, like that's kind of crazy that she's like swinging the guitar and stuff, and it's like, choreographed like that. The 16 going on 17, the way that like they're dancing around in the gazebo. Uh, I mean, I'm not like my favorite thing isn't crazy, just because they're kind of like in the bed singing it, but you like watch these numbers and you watch like the choreography and the singing. The singing in the rain was like the same way, where it's like these people can perform. Like, let's leave the camera on them and let them perform. Like, this is good. Let's like,
Yeah, the camera doesn't have to tell the story.
Yeah,
The stage will tell the story. You just put the camera in front of it.
yeah, and that's like, I mean, 16 going on 17 is like a perfect example where like it starts and you're just looking in the gazebo, and then later, it cuts to the side angle of the gazebo, and like it's never like really in there in the mix of everything. It's kind of just observing from the outside and watching all of the dance numbers happen. And I also wanted to say that so kind of the reason why we went on this journey of musical march was I was talking to my wife, or maybe we were singing. I don't know. I don't even remember where it came from. But one day I might have been singing Sound of Music or whatever. And then Hannah was like, oh, like, let's play it. So, like, at Isla's bath time, we were playing Sound of Music. And then, like, the soundtrack. And then My Favorite Things came on. And I was like, wait, this is from The Sound of Music? And so, like, it kind of, like, blew my mind then and, like, in the movie when I was like, I cannot believe the song is from this movie, because I feel like it is such a Christmas song, and that's what I like know it for. Is I think it's like the Supremes and Diana Ross did like a version that's like very Christmassy, and then everybody else who has ever performed My Favorite Things has put it like on their Christmas album. So it's like, it's a Christmas
Yeah.
song, and then this movie pulls it out and you're like, oh, that is not what I was expecting. But yeah, all that to say, I think the music in this movie is very good. I think this is one of those movies, or I guess just musicals in general, where I think when I was reading on Wikipedia, they call it like a musical standard or standard of music, where it's like something that has become so popular that it like is just like standard, that you would know it almost. And I feel like I knew 16 going on 17, and I hadn't seen this movie in years, and I didn't even like realize it was from this movie. My Favorite Things is the same way, even though that like took on a life of its own. Like Do Re Mi, The Sound of Music, like those numbers just took on a life of their own, and I know them even though I don't remember anything about this movie. It's like it's crazy, and maybe it's just like music is so powerful, and it kind of has this emotional attachment to it and whatnot. But like, that it was crazy to like watch this and be like, damn, this thing is over 60 years old, and it's still these songs are still popular. I still know them.
Well, what's crazy too is you bring up how old the movie is. Watching it obviously, yes, it just looks like an older movie, but it still just looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks like gorgeous, like vintage Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Going back
Well,
to
it does my favorite old Hollywood move of like when they move into the close up, it looks completely different because they have like the glimmer glass filters and stuff to make their skin look better. But it does look great. And I was gonna say, watching this movie now than when I was a kid feels a lot more pertinent now than it did back then. Something about people like brown shirts and like Nazis and the captain not wanting to join the Nazis. Like, something about that seems very
Yeah, I don't know what it
timely
is.
to today.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why that, I don't know why the whole idea of, not wanting to put up any sort of Reich flags or flags promoting specific, I don't know, government movements or anything like that, I don't know where that comes from of me being like, I kind of feel that. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe more people need to watch The Sound of Music and realize what side of the aisle they need to be on.
Are you kidding me? Those people would watch The Sound of Music and call the captain a traitor for not joining
His countrymen.
his countrymen. Yeah. Yeah, for walking away and not joining. Even though it wasn't really his countrymen he was joining, it was more like they were taken over. But,
Yeah.
I don't get it. What do you mean? The people in the Greenland army don't want to just join when it becomes the U.S. Army? What do you guys do? I mean, what are we talking about here? Come on. Oh, I was going to bring up the music itself. So this is a Rodgers and Hammerstein, who are like I think really kind of two of the quintessential. I mean, a lot of the like 50s and 60s classic musicals are those two: Oklahoma, King and I, South Pacific, Sound of Music. And this is something I did just find about Richard Rodgers looking up.
What a crazy name. That sounds like a superhero name.
So he is the first person to go Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. He is the first EGOT winner.
How many of those are there?
Ooh. Let's see. 27 people.
Well, this is bigger than I thought it would be.
Richard Rodgers, actress
Your boy.
Helen Hayes, singer
Alan Menken.
Rita Moreno, Audrey Hepburn, Mel Brooks, Whoopi Goldberg, Andrew Lloyd Webber, John Legend is an EGOT winner. Yeah, Alan Menken, Jennifer Hudson, Viola Davis, Elton John. Who's the latest? What is the difference between EGOT and what is non-competitive? What the hell does that mean?
I think like special awards. So like honorees and stuff.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Like they give you like
Barbra
a special
Streisand
award.
received like a special Tony Lifetime Achievement.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones received an honorary Academy Award.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, so it's not in the same year though.
No. Oh God, no.
Okay. I was thinking it would be like in the same year, which that would be insane.
That would be absolutely bonkers.
A couple of them almost have. Justin Paul and Benj Pasek, it looks like. It looks like they worked together on whatever they did.
Okay, they did Dear Evan Hansen, which is how they... And La La Land.
Okay.
So Academy Award for La La Land. They won an Emmy. They did the music. You won't get it because you didn't watch it or finish it. They did the music for Only Murders in the Building, the second season. And then they have Dear Evan Hansen.
Okay. Yeah, because they won 2024, 2018, 2017, 2017. So I was like, okay. That's still kind of crazy though. I feel like do you think it'd be easier for an actor or a composer to do it?
I think a composer, just because of the fact that you can do. I think if someone like Lin-Manuel Miranda, who had like a Hamilton type musical that absolutely blew up, and then went to do composing for songs at Disney, so to get like an original song Oscar win, I could see that happening. And then same thing for if you were to do like an Emmy type I think, and then Grammy is the same thing. I mean, original soundtrack Grammy. So I feel like that would be probably the easiest way to do it. I think as an actor, I think the best way to do it as an actor is probably,
Because I feel like actors, I feel like acting might be a little easier in the sense of like, well, does a
yes.
Tony have to be for like a musical? I
No,
assume.
no.
No. Okay, so you can just compose
I
like a.
believe Whoopi Goldberg won her Tony Award
Well, no,
for.
I mean like a composer. A composer probably gets their Tony from a musical, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's where I feel like maybe the struggle might be, is having to do like write a musical.
Yes, but I also think like a there's not, I don't know. I know there's like every couple of years you might have a year where a lot of really strong musicals might come out in the same year, but usually you get one really strong musical in a year that is just going to kind of blow everything away at the Tony Awards. I think if you're an actor, the best way to get it is probably as a comedian actor, because it's easy to get the, not easy, but it's easier rather than try to release a very strong album
Yeah.
musically. You could put out your album like a stand-up comedy and win in that category for a Grammy.
Yeah. Well, to bring this back to the Sound of Music, uh, speaking of EGOTs, without an Emmy is Oscar Hammerstein the second. Without a Grammy, so they have the three other awards. Then without a Grammy, we have Christopher Plummer. And then without a Tony, we have Julie Andrews. So we have a shit ton of awards between. I don't want to say it's because they have extremely long careers with very successful movies. It's probably goes hand in hand. But you also have. I feel like when you have more credits and stuff, sometimes it's easier to
Oh,
win
I
more
mean,
awards. But
that's,
they're also very talented people. But
yeah, but let's be honest. I mean, it's like a basketball player, right? You're going to score more points if you take more shots.
and that's why LeBron James is a fraud. Did you see the Steph Curry 3-pointer where he just
It was absolutely nuts.
180?
Yeah, that
Yeah, that
was
was
crazy.
disgusting. Also, almost an EGOT. Eminem does not have a Tony.
Oh, Tony?
I guess you could just win on anything. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking of like you having to win in like a specific category. I guess it's just you win anything. Makes sense. All right, never mind. I'm like thinking of like, what did Martin Scorsese do for music, or like, I mean, he did do something because he won a Grammy, but
What the hell did he win a Grammy for? I need answers.
you need answers on his Grammy.
Yeah.
2 Emmys for George Harrison, Living in the Natural World. He won. Oh, he got a Grammy Award for the best long form music video. I don't think they give that out anymore, do they?
What music video did he win for? That's what I want to know.
No Direction Home, Bob Dylan in 2006. He was nominated against Trapped in the Closet chapters 1 through 5 by R. Kelly. Okay. Oh my god. Uh, have you ever watched? I mean, I've never watched all of them because there's so fucking many. But have you Have you ever watched any of those?
No, but I knew a guy at Eastern who
Oh,
did.
Jesus. Was it me?
No, guy was in a close up with.
Oh,
Went
man.
through and did the entire Trapped in a Closet series. He's like
God.
it's like musically it's very good, but it's a rough go.
It's. I mean, okay. So if you look at some of these aren't music videos, though. Did it, like, change what it means?
I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. No, it's best music film.
So probably
Because,
like with Bob Dylan, I think it was like a doc.
yeah, because, like, the other award was, like 2016, it was Amy, which is, like, a Amy Winehouse documentary, or, like,
Yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
Because I do think some of it is, so Inside by Bo Burnham got nominated as well. So it's just anything, like, musically.
Yeah, weirdly enough, for as long as we've talked and not necessarily talked a ton about the movie, there's not a ton to talk about. I feel like the movie's good, it holds up well, the music's good, but there's not a lot of strong talking points. I feel like
I, not much happens,
the
really.
only
Like, it's.
there's one character I want to talk about who.
Is it Rolf that he's a little bitch?
How did you know that's exactly what I was gonna say? Fuck Rolf, man. That dude's a little bitch.
Rolf, and I don't know the character's name.
I'll also say it. Uncle Max.
Kind of a shitty person.
Fuck you, Nazi.
Yeah, well, he's apolitical, though, he says.
Both sides are bad. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Put the red armband on. Shut up, because that's what that means.
that
I'm
where
gonna call it
they're
out. I'm gonna call it out for the people in the U.S. who say the same shit. Oh, both sides are bad. I'm in the center. I'm a centrist. No, you're not. You're just afraid to admit what you really are.
yeah, when he says oh, God, what is it? They're, like, talking about Rolf when he, like, first does the little Hail Hitler, and he's like, oh, he's just a kid or whatever, and then he's like, he's like, I'm just an Austrian, like, and then he's like, well, I don't really like to take sides, I'm apolitical, and you're just like, fuck you. Air Zeller's the other one. That guy fucking sucks too.
Oh, the actual Nazi?
Yeah, the actual Nazi who, like, comes to the party. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck that guy too.
Yeah. No. I appreciated when basically at the end when the captain was just like, yeah, Rolf, you're basically was
You'll
just
nev-
like you're not
yeah.
man enough. Like
You'll never be
you'll
one
never
of them,
be
I think
one
is
of
what he
them.
says.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he
Which I
starts
feel like
yelling,
is,
Captain.
in hindsight though, I feel like maybe not the best way to, like,
Yeah, I guess
try and
maybe
get him.
don't intimidate him, but also was just a baller move to be like, this little bitch isn't gonna pull the trigger. What are you gonna do?
You love my daughter, you little bitch. You Nazi bitch.
You little punk ass Nazi bitch. Long titty, no nipple having ass Nazi bitch.
Well, yeah. I just feel like not much happens in the movie other than, like, literally that little bit where they run away. The rest of the movie is just kind of like a melodrama, like, family drama. I guess if you're like, it's hard to say that it was, like, boring or that nothing really happened. I feel like
It's
I
not
enjoyed.
boring. It's just that the music really kind of carries you through the plot really of the movie, but the plot itself there's just not necessarily a lot.
Yeah, I feel like it carries you up to a certain point until you catch, like, I feel like it gets you through. I don't know my timing well, but I feel like the first, like, hour and 20, music carries you. You get to the point where it's kind of like Maria versus the Baroness almost, and then she runs off. We get the next story, or we get the next song of like "Climb Every Mountain," and then we go back to this little drama maybe, and then it's like more music as Maria and the captain get together, and then we run away. So it's like music basically leads you to this next little chunk of plot, and then
there's the song for
music.
that chunk of plot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is like I feel like it's how it should be done.
Yeah.
Like I kind of hate when it's like I kind of hate when they like just sing for the sake of like singing, or they're like singing the plot to you almost. It's like okay, all right, come on.
Yeah, I don't like it when the song is literally just kind of like when when the song is literally just like, and then we went fishing, and it shows people like fishing. Like, yeah. No, don't. That doesn't need to be a freaking song. But no, I think this movie does a good job of letting the songs kind of the musical numbers kind of exist, and then like you said, just kind of a little snippet or two, a snippet or plot point or two get kind of dropped in, and then it just kind of leads you into the next song, which helps progress to the next. Yeah, no, it's good.
Well, Ben had never seen this film. I saw it, but I didn't really remember much. So you're gonna get a fresh rating from Ben, and you're gonna get a nostalgia rating, and an updated rating from me. So I'll let Ben lead it off, and let us know what he thought on his first viewing, and then I'll follow.
Yeah. As someone who enjoys musicals, this was great. I really enjoyed it. I like I said, I knew a lot of the, I knew a lot of the plot points. I knew kind of what the musical was about, what the story was. So there wasn't a ton of like shock or anything really that kind of caught me off guard. The music's phenomenal. It's a standard for a reason. If you haven't seen it and you enjoy musicals, it's definitely worth a watch. I liked it. Rating wise is always tough. I'm gonna call it 7.5, between a 7 and an 8. I think it's probably up there in terms of musicals. Probably.
Would you give it? Would you say it's the number 4 best musical of all time?
Are we going based off of? Well, here's the thing: is that musical or musical movie?
Musical movie. Musical movie.
Okay. I'd have to go through and look at some of the other musical movies, and a lot of it's too also just about taste, right?
True.
Because like some people might not put, like, I personally love the musical and movie Bye Bye Birdie. Think it's great. I love the music of the 50s, so that whole kind of musical is just like, you're gonna love this, my guy. So personally, I would put that above this musical. Would other people? No, personal preference. Doesn't necessarily mean anything by it. I think Singing in the Rain definitely would be probably number 1 in that category. But I think Sound of Music's definitely up there just in terms of how good it is as a movie. For 3 hours, you never feel like you're sitting there being like, oh my god,
when is this gonna end?
I
feel like some musicals
is this movie?
I feel like some musicals can definitely feel like that if they are not good.
Yeah,
where you're just like, there's still an hour and a half of this shit. Like,
yeah. I just think this is such a good, like, the show tunes are good. There's no, Climb Every Mountain might not be a great song, but you know what it is to me? It's a great, and I can't remember, is it right before intermission or is it like right after intermission?
I think it's before.
It feels like a solid act closing musical number.
Yeah.
It's slow, but it kind of ends with like this positive note, to kind of lift your spirits up after some bad things have happened. You kind of start this uphill, boom, right into intermission, and then you're not going to intermission because again, for if anyone who listens to this doesn't understand, typically in the theater intermission, people get up, they leave the theater itself, they go out into the lobby. They might, you know, I don't know, they might go out and just kind of talk with people. Normally, people leave, the doors close, they're out in the lobby for however long until doors reopen, and they're kind of ushered back in. So you don't want the audience going out there just kind of feeling super mopey. So yeah, I think Climb Every Mountain is a solid number for what it's supposed to be, which is just kind of an uplifter to carry you through intermission. So yeah, I mean, all the songs are super solid. You know what? I'm talking myself into an 8. I'm giving it an 8. Fuck it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah.
Damn.
We just did it. We just talked ourselves into a half point bump.
Got the bump. The I just discussed this too much to not like it more.
I just praised this movie too much for me to sit here and now try to shit on it rating wise.
Shit, I said I liked it. All right, it's 8.
It's a 4. It's such a great classic movie. 4 out of 10.
That sounds like a Cameron rating.
I absolutely hated it. 9 out of 10. I hated it, but people love it, so I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I feel like just based off of like pure nostalgia, I didn't enjoy this. I was a kid. I feel like sometimes as a kid you're just like, musicals, gross, and you just don't really buy into it. Don't necessarily understand the plot. I feel like on a more adult level where, sometimes you don't get like the romance themes, you don't get like the political themes in the background. You're just kind of like, oh, the nanny's gonna marry the dad, and she sings and brings happiness back into the household. All right, cool. So going in, I had this at like a 4 or a 5 out of 10. Like it existed, and I knew the music, but I could have lived without watching it again. I feel like watching it now, as a 31-year-old man, I really enjoyed this. Very good. I mean, and I think this month will be the best for me, I feel like. But so according to the AFI list, they have it as Singing in the Rain, West Side Story, The Wizard of Oz, The Sound of Music, Cabaret, Mary Poppins. I'd put it up there. I like it. I don't think it's as good as Singing in the Rain. I think Singing in the Rain was amazing, but this is just underneath it. Like Ben said, musical numbers, fantastic. I mean, after I watched the movie, I was singing them around the house. So if that means anything, it should mean like a vote of confidence for the music. I feel like shot really well. Like Ben and I had discussed earlier, that like old Hollywood, just great movie making, awesome choreography. The kid actors are pretty good, and I think it kind of helps with like the role not having to be too serious. I feel like too. Like, I feel like a lot of the parts where you lean into the kids in this movie, like they're allowed to like mess up and be goofy.
Yeah,
and like
they don't have to be. Yeah, they're not performing. They're not performing Glengarry Glen Ross. They don't have to. You know what I mean? They don't have to be like this super serious monologuing characters.
Yeah, like the what's the number? What's the one? The like farewell, goodbye.
So long,
like,
farewell,
no.
auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Yeah, that one. Like that's their chance to shine. I feel like, and like the little girl like just kind of steals the show when it's like, and it's time for me to go to bed, and she like just lays down, and you're just like, oh man, that's so cute. It's so good. But yeah, I feel like the only negative to me would be Climb Every Mountain. Like that's the only song I didn't enjoy. But I liked how this movie didn't really shy away from like using the darkness in scenes, like that scene in particular, and even the big romance scene with the where the captain confesses his love to Maria. It's like super dark. Like I get it's night out, but a lot of Hollywood movies would blast a ton of light in there and make it be seen, but it's kind of like done in the shadows almost. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna echo Ben, and I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Um, big Sound of Music guy over here. Will I be rushing to watch it again? Probably not at 3 hours. But will I listen to the music again pretty soon? Yes, I will, and I will probably keep singing it around the house.
And I won't be upset in, a year or so when I'm looking for something to put on when, my kids want to watch something, to be like,
Oh
you know
yeah,
what? I got something we could watch.
let's watch this. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those things where I feel like you can transition, and this would be like a perfect. This and like Mary Poppins, I feel like are perfect movies to like transition from maybe like animated Disney movies into like more live action like musical numbers, because it's still kind of like, oh, here's songs and dance and like things that'll like keep you a little bit more attentive to the screen, and then they're also like not necessarily like too adult. They're a little tailored. I think both are probably PG or G. But yeah, 8 out of 10. If you want to check this one out, I think it's on Disney Plus as of recording, because I think they own 20th Century Fox now. So, yay monopolies! And let us know over on Instagram what you think of The Sound of Music. You can check us out on our website, www.cocktailsandclassicspod.com. Yeah. We didn't do a cocktail. I didn't like record the bit for the cocktail, so
I caught on to that at some point and was like, you know what?
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
it. It's all right.
I did too. It's okay. I was fucking winging it. Some coffee shit tastes like ass. It doesn't matter.
I randled it. Don't care.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
It's classics and classics now.
It took me until about the time I was about to start pouring alcohol that I went, wait a minute, we're out of vodka? Because we have lemon vodka. Yeah, let me mix that with coffee. Gross.
That actually sounds delicious. I love lemonade and coffee, so don't slander that.
Who hurt you?
No, man, it's perfect summer drink. Ben, just a little half and half. Lemonade and coffee. Both iced. Delicious. Great summer drink.
I'm going to try it, and if it's bad, I will find you.
That's all right. I took it into work one day, and I was like, guys, well, I was drinking it, and everyone was like, what the are you okay? And
bitter,
I was like, no. Everyone
bitter sour. I don't.
And sweet. Bitter, sour, and sweet. You get a little bit of everything. But I had it somewhere. I forget where I had it. It was like a coffee shop. It might be Ruse Roast in Ann Arbor. I think might be the first place I had it. If not there, maybe Cultivate. Rest in peace.
I mean, apparently it's a very.
You're googling it. It's
Googled
very
it.
divisive. I will say.
It's called a Mazagran coffee.
Oh. I recommend it, but some people may not like that.
Well, I'll be honest. I made the cocktail in I poured it in like a ounce measuring glass, and then I poured it into my glass here, and then I thought to myself, that doesn't look like enough. So then I poured more, to make another one, and then realized I'd made everything and I had not added coffee. So I have the second one up. It's upstairs, still in the glass in the fridge. So I will be having that after we're done recording. Thank God I didn't just make a giant double and have a sip of coffee on it. But
well, all right, fuck it. We're cocktails at the end here now, everybody, because we fucking referenced it way too much now. It was let me pull it up here. I didn't even fucking pull it up, but we've talked about it so much, but it's called the Mother Abbess. It was from like some bar, I think in Chicago. They were having like a Sound of Music themed drink menu. Um, so this one is it's basically iced coffee spiked with uh, espresso vodka, coffee liqueur like Kahlua or Mr. Black, and then caramel syrup topped with whipped cream and like they say creamy caramel. So reading that, not knowing, it was literally just kind of like these are menu items that we're gonna have. So what I did for my espresso vodka was basically I did like a shot of espresso and vodka and just kind of let it like sit and meld together for a little bit. I think you could probably also like grind up some coffee, pour your vodka in there, and let it like steep, like cold brew for a while. You could probably do. Um, you'd probably get more flavor if you like steeped it in the beans and let it go for longer. Um, then coffee liqueur, I did. What's that place? Eastern Keel over here in Grand Rapids. They just have like a coffee liqueur, and I didn't have caramel syrup, so I did just some lavender syrup. I imagine you could probably do whatever you really want here. You're essentially making almost like a latte type iced coffee drink.
I used a stout syrup.
Stouts, that sounds delicious, actually. And then I just topped it with whipped cream, and I didn't have like caramel syrup to top it with, so I didn't do anything else. It's okay. Honestly, I'm unimpressed. I'll say
It tastes like another. It tastes like any other iced coffee cocktail.
yeah.
There's nothing about it that makes you go, "Oh, this is different," or "This stands out."
I feel like it's missing something creamy in there, whether that's like a Bailey's or like okay, all right, okay.
Heyo, ha cha cha.
You know what? We should. Oh God, it should have been fancy. Then like some sort of like cold foam, like a flavored cold foam on top. That would have been fucking fancy. But all right, well, hit up the show notes below. Make yourself a fucking Mother Abbess if you want to. We'll put some caster links for some vodka and some coffee liqueur in there. Send us a picture if you make it, if you made it this far in the episode. Check us out next week as we do another musical. And leading up to, I think we're going to do Wicked at the end of the month because it comes out on Peacock. And share us with your friends and family. Leave a review wherever you listen. It helps us out. And as always, watch responsibly.